This does not spark joy. It brings me no pleasure to do this. Goodbye. Goodbye, Kbeer version 1. But I have more and we'll try again. Alright, let's talk about why this beer is a failure. We all, I suppose, when we start brewing, some things are off maybe, but they're drinkable. I've decided, and after drinking a lot of these and talking with some people, that this is an abject failure. I talked to Stefano from Soul Homebrew about why it would taste like banana, and his idea was that because my boil was so shitty, remember my equipment failure, right? The heat stick. That's come back and it's fixed now. But I could only get my boil to 88 degrees, right? Which means that without a boil, you're not getting the Maillard reaction with the sugar, the caramelization, right? A true, proper caramelization. Which means that A, the flavor is going to be different, and B, you're not breaking down those long chains of sugar that would be easier to eat later for the yeast. So what Stefano said was that because of that, the yeast was probably underpitched, which means there wasn't enough. He was explaining to me that yeast is actually really intelligent, and when they're put into an environment, they have like kind of like a mass consciousness where they work together. And what he said probably happened was they realized how much sugar was in there. And even though I pitched the right amount for the liters of water, the sugar wasn't transformed enough. And what the yeast did, he thinks, was probably go, whoa, this is way too much for us guys. Because it would take them longer to break down the longer chains of sugar, right? So they got stressed right away. And what they did, he said, was probably start shitting out off flavors in stress and in preparation and lack of ability to handle the job that I gave them. So that resulted in a lot of, I believe it's called isoamyl acetate, which is a banana off flavor. It's something that happens in wheat beers, Belgian wheats, which gives it that banana clove kind of flavor, which is nice. But all it was doing was shitting out this, primarily. So part of this is also my fault. I undercarbonated it with the sugar. Yeah. This doesn't taste terrible. And like as far as off flavors go, banana is one of the nicer ones because, hey, at least it tastes like a fruit, right? Tastes like a banana. So this isn't a horrible, horrible taste, but I still consider it a very huge failure on my part. I couldn't boil it, and what am I going to do? Keep wort lying around in room temperature and with a lid on it for 2 days or 3 days while I figure out a way to get some way to boil it? There's going to be too much infection in there after that amount of time. So I was kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't, right? I said, fuck it, we'll pitch the yeast, we'll seal it, we'll see what happens, and this happened. So it's completely drinkable, but as my own worst critic, I'm going to finish this. I poured a bunch of them out, and I'm keeping 1 more liter in the fridge. I'm just going to lager it at like 2 degrees for like another month or two, and hey, we'll see what happens. It's more of an experiment than an excitement to try a beer that's been lagered that long. But yeah, I have more Gunsan malt down there. I have tons more hops. I'm going to use a White Labs West Coast IPA yeast, liquid yeast. I'm going to brew that tomorrow. The boil is not going to fail. So we'll try again and we'll see what happens. But I'm going to hop it up a lot. I'm going to use a West Coast IPA yeast and we'll see what happens. So to failure and learning from, I can blame the equipment only so much, but I did my best, right? I'm not blaming myself a lot for this, although it is disappointing in the result. But yeah, we'll try again and we'll see what happens. Korea, I promise I will do better next time and we'll see what happens. But until then, peace.